Alright guys, this is day 2 of the motorcycle training course. If you're one of the lucky ones, I hope you brought all your gear, because if you didn't, you gonna be in trouble. But in the morning, we came out here 8 o'clock in the morning, and we stayed over here in the staging area. Y'all see these tees right here? These are the tees that your motorcycles will be on that morning. Now this is in Augusta, Georgia. I don't know how they're gonna do it where y'all at, but these are the tees. You come out and your motorcycles will be lined up, and they'll tell you to go ahead and pick out a bike, and that's gonna be the bike you ride, and the only bike you ride for the next 2 days. Make sure you pick out a good bike. Don't sit there and run to the best looking bike, because the best looking bike might be the one that was getting dropped a lot. Because this girl fought me over a bike, and I was like, go ahead, you can take it, and it was a nice looking bike. And she dropped that bitch the next day too. Yeah, I felt kind of bad for her, but I mean, oh well. Now if you're lucky, you'll have a Gixxer 750. I ain't gonna have no Gixxer 750 out there for y'all to crash up. Nah. But anyway, these are the tees you're gonna start out on. Day 2 is just again a quated day. It's real fast actually. Still, just so you know, it's real fast. They put you on a bike, and then y'all go over the stuff that you read about. Well, actually, that I talked about in part 1. What they're gonna go over is thumb key valve. Make sure your thumb is on when you start the bike. You're gonna have like a lot of older forms of bikes. From probably 07s, 09s. Most of them are gonna be cruiser styles. I know in Augusta, Georgia, they had nothing but cruiser style bikes out here. They had 150s and about 3 or 4 250s. So I had to get a 150. Now, can you imagine going from a 150 to 750? Yeah, that's the luck I had. I did okay though. But anyway, and those guys that got the 250s, when they were trying to do the U-turns, yeah, they had problems because that bike kicked a lot harder than the 150s. So, that's something you want to think about. Before you go, still call over there and find out what kind of bikes that they have. They may have 150s, they may have 250s, but find out how many 250s they have. Depending on what kind of bike you're going to end up with, I would strongly advise you get a faster bike. That way it'll make the transition a lot easier, because you can just imagine me going from a 150 to a 750, and I was like, holy shit. But anyway, during the first day, you're gonna do a lot of training exercises with the bikes. You're gonna figure out how to find a friction zone on your bike. You're not just gonna get on these bikes and start going around in circles. Hell no. Don't even think you're gonna do it. You're gonna start learning about the friction zones on the bikes, so you can learn your bike's friction zones. You're gonna have you walk the bike, and what I mean by walk the bike is you're sitting on a bike and you're just playing with the friction zone, making the bike go forward and then pulling on it to make it go back, and that's just for the clutch. You're not going to do throttle too early in the day. He's just going to have you walk the bike and get used to that. Now, after he feels that everybody's comfortable with it, and that's the rider coach. That's what they like to be called, coach. He's going to line everybody up in a straight line. And then y'all going to give it a little gas, a little throttle, and, take the bike down, practicing your stops and stuff like that. I make sure you get all that down still the night before, the parts of the bikes and stuff like that. Excuse me. I know you already know that, but I thought I knew it all, and when I came to this class, I was fucking up royally. He got pissed off at me too, because I'm actually Marine, and the coach was Army first sergeant, so I kept doing stupid stuff. I'm kind of like, manual dexterity is not one of my strong points, so it takes me longer to get stuff. But once I got it, I got it. But anyway, once everybody gets just to the bike, it'll probably take about 2 or 3. You'll be riding for about 2 or 3 hours doing little training exercises. That's when they're going to have you start going around in circles and stuff like that. So this is the course. Some dude parked his truck there. I don't know why he parked his truck there in the middle of the rider course. Normally they don't park there. This is actually Tobacco Road Middle School, by the way. This is where they do the course out at. And this is actually a course. And they already have it lined and everything out here for people when they come out there. But for the first day still, what you basically need to work on is how to manipulate the clutch and the throttle. Because this is going to save your ass when you actually take the test. By the way, this scale line that y'all see right here, this is the second test you're going to take, which is called the quick stop. What they do right here is, I'm going to let y'all see this. They measure how far it takes you to stop. And I think you can get about 10 points in this section. Yeah, they -8 from me. Alright, because I didn't want to fail. Now you see where the 5 is at? They got 2 cones right there at the 5. And once you enter in at the 5, Okay, once you enter in at the 5, you have to immediately start stopping. But see, I didn't want to, but if you look down, you automatically fail that portion of the test. So I didn't want to fail the test. So I kept riding until I felt I was actually near the cones, and then I pressed the brakes. I stopped later, so they minus like 8 points from me. Out of the whole test, I think I had like a 91 or 92. The biggest part I got hit on was just the quick stop, because I just refused to fail that just because I want to be stupid and look down. But day 2, just make sure you work on. I mean, I'm telling you, still make sure you work on the throttle and clutching, and stuff like that, because you're gonna really need to know that stuff when you go to take the test. Now, periodically during the course, you're gonna actually start seeing things. You're gonna start, because they're gonna tell you clearly the first day what you're gonna be testing on. It's gonna be about 4 tests. It's gonna be, I know the quick stop is 1, cornering is gonna be 2, doing a U-turn without putting your foot down, and then the swerve. Those are the 4 tests you're gonna take. The U-turn and swerve we did together. And I'll go over and we're going to start at the U-turn and swerve. We'll go ahead and start that test first. I'm going to go over all the 4 tests. Day 2 and day 3 are pretty much the same. Day 3, they go over the last 2, which is cornering and the swerve, I think, on day 3. And day 2 is just for the quick stop and the U-turn. So you spend a lot of time on these bikes learning those skills, but they do go over other skills. Now, it's up to you. Once you get to the cornering portion, to the U-turn portion, you practice harder. Everybody else is going to be, having fun or whatever. You need to actually, and that's one thing I'm glad I did. I practiced that shit hard when they were training us on it. That way, when the next day came, I knew what to expect, and I was fine with it. But I'm going to go ahead and stop right here, and then we're going to go ahead and go to part 2, where we're going to start at the U-turn and the cornering.